What's going on, everyone? How are we all doing? Seems like you all enjoyed the tightness test new regulations video last week. That video has done really well, so appreciate the support from everyone. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going. But yeah, if you didn't see that, go back to that, because it explains the new tightness test regulations, what we're going to have to do when it's coming in. It's actually already in, but when it becomes dead set that you have to use that. And yeah, seemed to be a good video. Right, this week coming up, we have the exact reason why I don't like doing family and friends jobs. That's coming up. You'll see why. Everything will make sense. But we spoke about that a couple of videos ago, and yeah, it will all make sense. The other thing I want to know is breaking down costs. I generally give a fixed cost if I'm quoting for a repair. Only times I'll do a per hour, where the labour and the materials is split, is when it's like a trace and repair or something like that, where you just have no idea how long you're going to be. Obviously, in that case, you have to split it. Otherwise, you could massively lose out. Or on the flip side, you could massively overquote, in which case you would win, but the customer would massively lose out. And I doubt they'd ever use you again. So I think the fairest way to do things like trace and repairs is per hour, in which case it's split. But everything else, boiler installs, the lot, it's just a fixed price. You get one price. There's no breakdown of parts and labour. That's irrelevant. But I'm having a spate of so many customers asking. I haven't been asked for a long time. But I'd say over the last 2 months, I've had like 3 or 4 customers ask. It really bugs me, because I don't feel like I should have to justify that. And as a rule, I don't do it. But by saying I don't do it, it almost makes you feel like you're being disingenuous, when that's not the case. It's just, I know the reason you're asking is one or two reasons. One, you want to see how much I'm making, but that's not a true reflection of what I'm making, because there's business costs in there. There's all these other things that isn't just money in my pocket after the materials. Or the other thing is, you think you can get that part cheaper elsewhere. Now, the problem is with that, sometimes you can. But what if that part fails? What if that part turns up and is incorrect? What if something's missing? Now, obviously, if the customer supplies that, then in my terms and conditions, it takes away any of my responsibility for the part. So in fairness, I can turn up, you've ordered, I don't know, a thermostat. I turn up, fit the thermostat, it's the wrong type. You still got to pay me for coming. Then you got to pay me for coming back to fit the correct one or to sort it out. Now, I appreciate that's probably more beneficial for me, because I'm not having to take on any of the responsibility. But the problem we have there is that you're really not going to be happy paying for me to turn up when you've made a mistake. And then that's where it gets a little bit techie. So ultimately, I am going to lose out, because you're not going to want to pay. I'm going to feel uncomfortable making you pay. And then, forgot what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought there. I'm going to feel uncomfortable making you pay, in which case I'm probably, in order to keep you as a customer, I'm then going to just waiver it. And then I lose out. But you've made the mistake. So this is why I don't do a breakdown of costs, because yeah, the price is the price. Like any other scenario, restaurants, shopping, all of these things, you just get given a cost. There is no breakdown of what you're paying for. And I know there's always them analogies of restaurants, and you know, you don't ask a chef how much the steak cost and things like that. But yeah. Anyways, let's jump into these videos. So I'm back at the Potterton Profile. Needs a new gas valve, which I managed to track down here from Boiler Spares Baldock. So shout out to them. They managed to have it. And yeah, let's get it changed. Sod's law now, with a bit of tweaking and having it out, I can't do it again now, but I did manage to get these solenoids off, but it would have had to come out, and there was no give on that when it was in place. I'm sure there would have been, but I didn't want to break it and then end up in a same or worse position. So I guess at least that's proven me right. Obviously this one I don't mind breaking now, but yeah, it just needed a bit of wiggling, and it eventually came off when you wiggle these about a bit. Yes, you can just change the solenoids if that's all you can get, or if that's all you want to replace, but I say it can be tricky. I didn't want to break it. If I can get this off, I'll show you. See all the filings that come out of there. That must be most of them out. Oh no, that side. Talking of, I have a job. It constantly gets the gas valve filled up with filings, but the customer got SGN out, and they said that you could get a almost like a line strainer for it, but surely that would just end up getting blocked up as well, no? Or am I talking rubbish? Obviously carried out all my gas testing. Let's turn the torch off, so let's see if it buzzes. It's already sounding a lot better because it's not buzzing. Yeah. There we are. So yeah, if you can get that double solenoid off, then obviously do. It's just that one screw and it jiggles off, but it's hard to get off. So as I say, I didn't want to break it, and then, you know, I've paid for solenoids and then having to pay out for a gas valve as well. So I went gas valve on this one, but yeah, you can change that. I showed you in last week's video, last week's video how to test. It's not main burner, but there we are. So I say, gas tests all carried out and whatnot. We're good to go. Right, little public service announcement. Couple things in this. So, one, it is 20 to 11 at night, and I am on my way to take out a thermostat that I installed. It was a Hive Mini. Long story short, it's for my wife's nan. It's not her fault at all. It's nothing she's done. Nothing wrong with her. But I installed this because I installed one a while ago, and then literally 3 or 4 months later, customer got a new boiler. I installed a new boiler, and with that changed the thermostat for them. So they said I could take the Hive Mini out. It didn't have a hub, it was a hubless version. So I've just had this sitting on the van and thought, okay, I know, I'll put that in. The reason is she's 90 years old. sometimes her thermostat is a bit funny and whatnot. She's got a whole old Honeywell thing in there. So we thought, let's put a smart thermostat in there so that we can at least control timings and whatnot from remotely. So, because we're a while away, so that's also part of this. At this time of night now, it's still an hour and 20-minute drive up there, hour and 20-minute drive back, okay? So I got a hub for this, brand new hub for it, and this other Hive Mini had literally been in there 3 or 4 months. Like, it looks brand new, right? Installed that, it was all working perfectly fine. She was really happy. About 4 days later, it comes up with pairing failed. Now, I tried to diagnose over the phone for her, couldn't do it, but we ended up going there the next day or the day after, I think. And I took another Hive Mini because I thought, do you know what, maybe it is, that one was just a faulty unit, I've just got really unlucky, or maybe the hub that I bought new was faulty, I don't know. So I just bought a complete new Hive Mini because that was the one that was in there. Realised then that you have to set it up on a new account or ring them. You can't get hold of Hive, which is an absolute nightmare. Like, to speak to on the phone anyway. You used to be able to call them. I can't find a number for love nor money that actually where you can talk to someone. So anyway, long story that in itself. So I installed this new Hive Mini. Everything was working perfectly again. Now we are, what was that? Good Friday. We went up there. So now we are 7, 8, 9 days later. Same thing's happened. She's called my wife today. Pairing failed. There's a red light on the receiver. Don't know. So I'm now on my way up to take it out and put our old Honeywell back in. So my point is, one, Hive, you're useless. And I've been a big advocate for not using Hive for a while, purely based on the fact that I have had connection issues in the past, but normally on initial setup, never after. But also, the Centrica and British Gas use the Hive app to market cheap services and whatnot to customers, which I don't agree with because they're my customers. So they're directly, I'm fitting your product that I've recommended and, you know, installed, and then you're using that directly to poach my customers. So I don't agree with that. So that's one thing. Drop Hive out. The second thing is the family and friends jobs, and this is what I said a couple of weeks ago in a video. They always just lead to trouble. And again, it's nothing to do with her, it's nothing to do with the person, it's just problematic. And then you feel like if this was a standard customer, they'd have to wait till tomorrow. They would also be more local because I only cover a certain area. But yeah, it's just, I don't remember the last time a friend or family job wasn't a pain in the backside. So yeah, that is my public service announcement. No family and friends jobs, and definitely no Hive. Not because of the connection issues, mainly because of, I mean, it is because of that now, but also mainly because of they're trying to poach your customers. So if you're not aware of that and you do fit Hive, that is what they do. I think it was 2 summers ago, they were doing a boiler service for £49. And every time you logged onto the app, because I have a Hive myself, got it long time ago, and it's always been fine. There's no reason to change it. But every time you logged onto the app, it will come up with a, you know, promotional like notification about boiler service, and it's in the little drop down box on the side. So yeah, that is my rant for 11:15 at night on a Sunday night too. See this blasted thing. That goes green, but the actual thermostat itself just says pairing failed. It doesn't do anything. You can turn it on manually. But yeah, this is the second time that it's messed up in the space of 2 weeks. So it is coming back out. I've got to figure out what I've done with the wires to put it back in there. So I couldn't remember what wires were what on here, because you've got the 2 black ones. So I couldn't remember which of these 2 black wires went where on that. So I've had to check the wires by basically checking, put it in on ohms or beep. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it now. And checking, I've got OL there, don't know if you can see that. Whereas, so that indicates open line. Whereas if I stick it in that one and put it on there, I'm getting a reading. So that means that wire connects to that connector. Hope that makes sense. There we are, so that's back up and running. Let's turn the temp up, make sure the boiler goes and fires. There we go. There you go, that one's done. So we're a few days on now and thermostat is still working perfectly. The original one. So yeah, that's that. She's a bit upset, I guess, because she liked the new Hive Mini. It's quite smart looking, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know what's going on. But I forgot when I was ranting in the van, I forgot we had another visit where we actually went, repaired it. Then we went another time, swapped it over. Then I went that night when you saw. So yeah. Anyways, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about 1, Hive connections. 2, the issue with them basically touting your customers using their app. Do you use them? Like, I pretty much boycott them unless a customer is adamant to have it. But I will always recommend other products first. And 3, breaking down costs for quotes and whatnot. Do you do it? I don't. I've given my reasons as to why in the beginning of the video. But yeah, let me know what you think. I say jump back to last week's video because that's all about the new tightness test regulations. I might do a short as well and upload it onto here, Instagram and whatnot. Just a quickly, like a minute video to run through things. But yeah, please do jump in the comments, say hi. Yeah, just say anything. Like it, share it, anything. Let's just try to keep the momentum going and try help push the videos out, because it makes it a lot easier to film them. But don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, hype if that's still a thing. And I will hopefully see you next week with a few more topics that I want to talk about. So let's go.